Welcome back to Feeling Fine News, your host with the most, Charlie speaking, with two special guests on their experiences in the media industry. We have Caleb and Katie. Now tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Well, as you said, my name is Caleb and I'm a video editor for Imaginations Church.
And I'm Katie and I'm a graphic designer for Imaginations Church.
So as a graphic designer, do you ever struggle to create concepts and ideas while designing graphics?
Yeah, sometimes there's a lot of content expected at once, so that can be challenging to come up with different ideas for different events.
How do you overcome this creative block?
By just keeping my mind open and looking for inspiration and just trying things until I find something that works.
In your free time, do you ever just create graphic design just for yourself?
Not so much these days. It's usually like other creative outputs like interior design or gardening.
So if I may ask, how did you end up a part of the Inchurch Media team?
Well, pretty much I had been doing my own sort of video editing and video work for a few years before Simon, the manager of the creative team, approached me to be in the media team. But basically, yeah, he saw my work and he liked what I did, and I was also doing a lot of media for the church here anyway, on a volunteer basis on weekends and for the youth group and stuff like that. And then Simon approached me and asked me if I would want to come on board and be on the team to do it 2 days a week. And it seemed like a great opportunity, so I said yeah.
And how about you, Katie?
So I'd been studying graphic design for a couple of years at uni, and I'd also done some volunteer work for the youth group. And the current creative team director at the time asked me if I wanted to come on 1 day a week, and eventually I've moved up to being full-time.
So was there any struggles in your journey when joining the team at the very beginning?
Not really. It was a pretty smooth transition from what I was doing already in the church and in the youth ministry. It was just sort of a step up into doing it part-time. But there's always struggles, moving into a place where then there's deadlines that you have to meet every week. And as a volunteer, you're not expected to really perform to any standard.
So speaking about deadlines, have you ever missed a deadline? And if so, what happened to make you miss that deadline?
I can remember one time where I missed a deadline. Well, we didn't really miss the deadline in terms of the creation of the media. We created the media video for the weekend, but we missed a deadline in uploading it to the correct computers that it could be played. And so on the weekend, the video went to be played and it couldn't be played because it wasn't on any computers. So that's sort of not a miss of a deadline in terms of the creation of the media, but a miss of the deadline in terms of communicating who was going to put that on the correct software. So yeah, I mean it doesn't have a massive effect because obviously you can just move on in the service, but there's always those things that you need to make sure that it's not just one deadline of creating it, there's also little deadlines in making sure it's in the right place at the right time.
I can't really remember anything specifically, but I've had times where printing hasn't arrived on time if we leave it too close to the actual deadline, or we're also a multi-location church, so other locations are relying on us sometimes to send them printing, so there's been issues with that where maybe the printing hasn't been sent fast enough or there's unexpected delays.
Now, on to more tech-specific questions. How often do you have to update your own equipment?
So our computers get updated every 3-ish years.
So what happens with the out-of-date equipment, like cameras that get replaced and whatnot? What happens to that after it's no longer usable?
Well, with out-of-date equipment, we have a lot of areas of our church, and so generally equipment flows through those areas based on how important it is to need that equipment. So our main section of the church is our main sort of Sunday services with the adult services, and so basically any equipment that's used there is generally our top top of the range equipment. And then things like our youth ministry on Friday nights and kids ministry, any equipment that is out of date or anything for the main services, generally youth or kids can find a use for that. It's generally they don't require as high-tech equipment as the main service will, so we can flow down through the different areas of church.
So moving on to programs, what programs do you have experience using in your specific fields?
For video editing, I basically use a mixture of the Adobe Creative Cloud, so Premiere Pro predominantly, and also a little bit in Audition and stuff for audio. But I also use Final Cut Pro for quick assembly of different projects, and a lot of graphics I do in Final Cut Pro just because it's quicker and more efficient to share media between different projects.
I use Adobe InDesign, Illustrator and Photoshop. That's for designing content, and then sometimes I'll use Lightroom as well for editing photos.
And with the use of different brands of programs, would you recommend to other people who are seeking out careers in the media, do you think they should also be experienced using different brands of programs? Or do you think they should just stick to using one?
No, I absolutely think it's really important to sort of skill yourself on a range of different programs, because for different, you can use different programs for different applications, and also employers might need you to use a particular program. I know that I've done jobs for people who need me to use a particular editing program, and for different people who want me to use a different editing program. And so knowing a broad range of different programs that you might be using can really help you to secure opportunities in a lot of different areas rather than just limit yourself.
I've been your host, Charlie, and this has been Feeling Fine News. And I would like to thank our special guests for giving their time and their input to these questions about media. Good night, Australia.